what though, I'm really looking forward to getting this build finished. I try and hide all this stuff, but check all this mess out. It's just everywhere mess, and I got fish in holding tanks. Let's get this job finished. You are 100% correct. Plywood aquariums are not exactly the most attractive aquariums in the world. They're big, they're bulky, that's the nature of their construction. And if you ask anyone that has a plywood aquarium, we would probably all agree we'd love to have that size aquarium as an all-glass aquarium. Much more aesthetically pleasing. However, there are ways to make our plywood aquariums a little bit more, well, easy on the eye. And in this video, we're going to explore exactly one of those. I'm going to use polyurethane paint to actually spray paint a decorative backdrop on this 12-foot long Palau-inspired reef tank. How frustrating was this? In preparation for doing the spray painting, I grabbed the orbital sander and used a 60, 80, 120 and 180 grit sanding pads to actually give the entire tank a good sanding. But I went a bit crazy, and you can see down here on the bottom of the tank, on the back wall, and even around here on the actual islet construction, I breached the epoxy and I actually exposed part of the timber underneath. Very frustrating. So what I had to do was pull out the old boat coat epoxy once more. I rolled on 2 more coats. I'm going to use a 400 grit wet dry sandpaper and some soapy water, and I'm going to give the entire tank a good wet scrub down, get it all cleaned off with the wet dry vac, and then we can start spray painting the polyurethane. Well guys, it's the morning after, and I must admit I'm feeling a little bit worried. I've never actually used a polyurethane paint before, and I have no experience whatsoever in spray painting. So fingers crossed this is going to go well. I want to try and make this aquarium more decorative. I want to be able to use, this product is pre-tinted in navy, although you can get it in a clear and a whole range of different colors as well. And I'm going to use some various pigments, black, green, white, blue, along the way to try and tint and blend different colors into that sort of two-tonal effect that you can see in the ocean when you're diving. So let's see if I can pour this without making a mess. No, I've made a giant mess. Being an oil-based pigment, these pigments just wouldn't actually combine with the Aquacote, and they were just floating on the surface. Being a water-based polyurethane, Aquacote requires a water-based pigment. It's not a blue, it's not a black, and it's not a green, but it's a combination of all those colors down low, and then gradually as we come up the height of the back wall, I'm going to lower the intensity or the depth of the color, try and blend it out to more of a blue-green until I get to the very top, where I'm going to have a band of white, which represents that kind of a bubbling surf zone. Righto, so things are absolutely not going to plan. That's not the colour. That's a horrible colour. But I've had a few shocker days. You know, you just have those days. I'm getting used to the product. I'm getting used to the spray gun and trying to find the right colour. But I think I've got a plan now, and I think I need to turn to a paintbrush and a sponge. I know that around the actual island itself and across the base, I'm going to use the darkest colour, the darkest indigo green type colour. So my aim with using Aquacote is actually to get a decorative finish for the actual aquarium, but it's also to assist in that waterproofing layer on top of the boat coat epoxy. A big thank you to Boatcraft Pacific up there in Brisbane, Australia for supplying me with this tin of Aquacote. It's part of their sponsorship for this build series. Thank you very much, guys. Aquacote is actually a water-based polyurethane. Non-toxic, we don't have those nasty fumes. You can thin it with water and you can wash up with water. So it makes the process a little bit easier without having to use all those kind of solvents. Crosslinker is the product that's required to be mixed into the Aquacote to allow it to fully harden when it's cured. So the great benefit of me using this polyurethane in my plywood build here is that the polyurethane hardens to an extreme level a lot more than what does epoxy by itself. If you've used epoxy to coat furniture or bar tops and that kind of thing, then you may know that epoxy can actually scratch fairly easily. So that's the benefit of using a polyurethane over the surface of that epoxy. It's going to protect my aquarium from things like barnacles, coralline algae, sea urchins, all those sort of marine microfauna that like to attach to the surfaces of our aquariums. Today I'm going to block out the blue and turquoise area on both sides of the background, get some wet edges, and I'll start to feather and blend those colours together and hopefully create that nice gradient or ombre effect, which I've been studying on good old YouTube. Second most used search engine in the world, don't you know? So that's the green. We'll let it go tacky and do some more coats. And it's about 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night and everyone's asleep in bed, and I've got a basketball game tomorrow and my hands are covered in paint, and I think that what I've done here is pretty good. So, like any good artist, we leave it at night and we reconvene in the morning. So this is my overflow box, or my weir box. This actually allows that surface skimming of the waters before they return through the plumbing to my filtration system and my sump. But of course I don't want to have fish being washed over the overflow, particularly during the discharge of those Carlson surge devices. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually just installing some of this white egg crate or light diffuser. Got to cut another piece just to go in under here, and this will actually stop particularly those smaller pelagic fishes such as the chromis, the damsels and the anthias from being washed over into the weir box. Righto, so where are we? We've done the backdrop. I've done my foaming turquoise two-tone effect kind of a backdrop. I hope you think that looks pretty good. Let me know what you think. Please be kind. What have I learnt in the process of using Aquacote? Well, I found that it does certainly spray very easily. I wouldn't thin it too much with water, no more than about 5%, although it does say you can go 10%. If you intend to blend colours, don't use a spray gun. Much too hard, just use a paintbrush in that crisscross kind of fashion and a sponge to get that kind of foamy effect. A wet on wet method is best, so just leave it for maybe about half an hour and you can do a second coat. If you do want to leave it longer than that, make sure you lightly sand it before you recoat, and don't forget to add that cross linker into that mixture. Give it a good stir through, and that way you're going to get the true hardening effect of that polyurethane coating. If you intend to do some plywood aquariums or even some painting and some sealing around the fish room, such as on stands and canopies, you can look up boatcraft.com.au where you can find their epoxy boat coat and their polyurethane Aquacote. Have you figured out yet what these PVC struts are for? I wonder if you have. Let me know if you think you have. And don't forget to check back the next time where you'll see me actually putting these to good use, and we'll start aquascaping and putting some rock work into this Palau plywood reef tank. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Adam the Australian Aquarist, over and out.